Hi friends, host Eric here, host Talking Famous People, and I want to talk in this video about what it looks like to have NI in the 7th slot, NI polar. That's going to be your ESFJs, and it's going to be your ESTJs. So, that's my woman and my dad. Those are your NI polar types. So, I have a good example of what it looks like to have NI polar. For the second day in a row, Kimberly has called me very distressed about the fact that she lost her badge at work. Now, what does this mean? Well, she works at Sprouts currently. She works there because she likes the job a lot. I've seen her at work. She obviously delights in all the FE, you know. And I get that she likes the job a lot. But again, she works there because she likes the job a lot. It pays her $10 an hour. I've already suggested to her that a much better use of her time would be to direct her energies, those hours, towards my business, because those hours put in produce lasting profit in ways that her hours at Sprouts do not produce lasting profit for her. So hours put in once have long-term impacts. Hours put in once have short-term impacts. That distinction is a difficult one for an ESFJ. As a consequence, she lost her badge at work. Now, I pointed out immediately, my first response to it was, well, just ask for another badge. I mean, how big of a deal could it be? And she said, well, it's a big deal. You know, they're going to write me up and they have to give me a replacement badge and I have to wear a sticker that says, hi, my name is Kimberly, because I don't have my badge. And I said, okay, well, I understand that's distressing, but regardless, try to keep it in perspective. It's okay if you lost your badge and they have to issue a replacement. If it's that big of a deal to them, they're not paying you enough to care this much, basically. They are simply not paying you enough to care this much. You're carrying way more than $10 an hour is worth for a job that you already choose to do because you like it, even though you know you can make more money an hour doing something else, such as working for me, except it's a little less direct and concrete, I guess. But I could even compensate her more than that an hour. And regardless, it somehow doesn't quite sink in. Today she called me and said, okay, listen, Eric, this is serious. I can't find my badge. I think, you cannot still be talking to me about this. And she says, look, it's got to be at your house. You've got to look here. So okay, I'll go do another full search here. I did another full search, still can't find the badge. The whole time I'm reflecting on the fact that this is NI polar. This fucking badge does not matter at all. Okay? She should just tell them, I lost my goddamn badge, issue me another one, write me up if you want. Who the fuck cares? You're paying me $10 an hour. Oh, Sprouts wrote me up. You know, who the fuck cares? Except she likes the job. She understands her FI on a 5th slot level. So it's ignoring but strong. And she understands the FE consequences of having lost her badge being entirely negative. And it makes her feel disempowered compared to some standard in her head. But what she's failing to account for is she needs to compare herself first and foremost to the average employee or average prospective employee. And she cares so much more than anybody would reasonably care about this job already that she's worth way more than $10 an hour. I've seen her in action. She's bustling all around the store, fucking chatting people's customers up, helping them do things, all fucking business-like and cheerful at the same time. She's a fucking supermarket dream employee. And she's desperately worried about losing her badge. Well,
so basically she hasn't taken into account, like when I'm at a job, and I've done a lot of good and I know I'm worth a lot, I have what I call like brownie points, so to speak, for a simple term. When you have a whole lot of brownie points in the bank, it's okay to take a few out when you lose a badge, for example.
Right. But she's not doing that equation. That's an ENTP thing. And more importantly, though, she's not putting the whole thing in perspective. So even if she's managing to successfully put it in perspective within its own framework, like, okay, I guess I get written up once, and she's forgetting the fact that getting that's the challenge she has. Did my audio cut out? Yeah.
Hello.
Hi. So, like I was saying something about poo, pee, pee, or something. I don't know.
Well, I was just wondering, is she worried about specifically the interaction between her and her supervisor, or is it more like a social pressure thing? Like she doesn't want to be the odd one out, without the badge or something?
Well, I don't know exactly. I think it's a set of individual things, each of which sides on the side of this badge matters. And it's a failure then to position that whole set of individual factors against a larger whole. Like, but look, all of the pebbles here are red. This is obviously a red pebble area. Well, it is if you focus on this narrow thing, but if you look up a little bit, you realize there's big mountains of yellow rocks all around it. And the red pebbles are missing the point, right? That's what I mean by polar NI is somehow failing to understand which things are important and which things aren't because of some disinclination to attend to matters of holistic NI truth. It gets because the FE and the TI are 1-4. That modality becomes their dominant modality, but they're on the FE side of it, so they don't have that consistency driven moving towards singularity. That is, I think TI moves you towards singularity and towards NI. The higher your TI in your stack, the more your NI sings. In the 6th slot. If you're TI Dom, you got NI in the 6th. If you're TI second, you got NI in the 5th. 6 is where you can actually fucking do some damage with it. Like I did when I busted out my TE and built this whole program architecture and curriculum for this school that I used to work for, right? I was being TE'd myself into a situation where I had to display TE, but once I was called upon to do it in the right kind of context where I was given enough creative freedom, my TE sang. It was just like, bah, watch everybody fall into place and do the things they're supposed to do. When I was myself compelled into attending to TE by a work situation. But the thing is, NI is much more attractive than TE. NI doesn't necessarily involve doing anything. In fact, it's contraindicated to doing things. It's the inverse proportional for an NI dom is SC and for an SC dom is NI. So obviously NI settles nicely with TI in that regard because both of them are deliberative. So yes, NI 7th though, it's not so much a deliberative thing as it is moving between certainties that may conflict and then being confused about how it was that you were certain about this before but now you're certain about this. And the answer is, well, the reason they have trouble with that is they got 3rd slot NE. They're all about trying to be about possibilities. And so in some regard, they miss the ability to distinguish which of the possibilities is best. Just like I'm all about being loved, but I do a poor job of distinguishing between being loved by which kind of being loved is better than which other kind of being loved.
So in this scenario, from like a personal development point of view, how do you think that this tendency could be mitigated then in someone that has this stacking?
Well, I think she needs to be aware of this is an area of blindness for her, just as I am about my emotions. And I've had talks with her where I say things like, look, I don't really get what it means to say I love you, but I say these words to you because I understand them to mean I'm serious, I'm committed, you can trust me, and I am going to treat you as the thing that I say that to. and have all the corresponding behaviors. For me, loving somebody is a set of behaviors that I engage in to show that I value and care about them, and they can count on me, and that I'm of use to them. Like, I want them to get like, okay, wow, you really facilitate what I want to do and be, and blah 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 blah, in ways that I become super attached to. I can trust that. I can trust their attachment to their self-interest. That makes sense to me. The idea that somebody would stay with me because they like me doesn't make any sense to me as to what that means. So I can't count on a partner to be with me because of their emotional attachment. That seems like scary, fucking useless thing. You can't possibly stand there. It'll just fall right out from underneath your feet. That means nothing. You can't pin anybody down on what that means. So, you know, as a consequence, I explain to her, this is how I cope with my 7th slot FI. I'm not quite sure how I feel about you, but I'm not annoyed by your company at all. Like, I don't feel bad from you. I don't find myself having a lot of bad feelings. I find myself in general having a lot of good feelings, saying a lot of positive things to you, and that seems to correlate well with liking you. Certainly it correlates well with enjoying your company, so to speak. And our roles are complementary. Like, I know what role I need. I see you're well positioned to fill those roles. If I could dislodge you from your dumb grocery store job, anyway. But she's still perfectly fine for those roles, even if I can't do that. I'm just saying it'd be nice if I could get her as a business manager for me, and that would require those hours more or less. But I'll ease her into it. I understand she loves her Sprouts job, and
is that what this video is about? Convincing her to work for you?
You know, right? But it's a good example of NI polar, because just as she can't convince me to feel love, I can't convince her to know the obvious truth. So what I can do is convince her that she can't see that area of thing, just like I understand myself to be blind in FI areas, and make metacognitive adjustments. Will she do so? I don't know. Is it critical to me? No, it's not really important. If she chooses to be exactly the same way, that's fine. I need to be somewhat cooperative when it comes down to it about certain things, but for the most part, I'm more than happy to indulge her look for my badge nonsense, even if it's not important, because I do care about her and I want her to be happy, and I'm engaging in a discipline, you might call it, a planned discipline, and that discipline is called the martial art of relationships. I'm attempting to do it right from the very start and say all the right things and be the need-fulfilling, loving boyfriend that the woman wants me to be. It's a martial art. It's called soul consumption.
That sounds a little bit, I don't know.
Evil?
Yeah.
Listen, it's nothing evil about it, because my plan, it's all means-based. My self-interest outcomes that may be sort of lingering there as a general motivating factor are irrelevant, because my means are understand who she is, understand what she needs, meet all those needs, and go above and beyond in terms of the ways in which what I want to give complement what she wants to receive, make sure that I give amply in those areas, and that I draw attention to it in ways that actually make her become more attached to the things that I'm providing, not less attached, and manage her understanding of what I'm expecting, so that she's always giving less a little bit than I'm giving and lagging behind, so she's always feeling like she's getting a good deal, right? I got this whole thing worked out as to how to lock down a partner to make them basically so in love with you that even I'll be able to tell, oh, she's not going to leave because she likes me a lot.
Does this plan still work if you tell her what the plan is?
Works better that way. I've talked about it openly the whole time. Because every time she tries to be like, well, but you can't manipulate me like that. My only manipulation strategy is to better understand you and your needs so that I can better meet your needs so that you're a happier person. Oh, well.
Sounds like a win-win.
It's a hard argument to beat, right?
Yeah.
This is how an NETIFE SI user mimics FI.
I see. Took a lot.
There's a lot of metacognition. But I really do feel very fondly towards her to the extent that I feel fondly towards anybody. But I think that should be stated as well. Kimberly, I couldn't find your badge, baby. I'm sorry. Good news is it really doesn't matter. But other good news is if it matters to you, that's fine. It matters to me as well. I'm sorry I couldn't find it. I genuinely looked hard. I scoured the car, looked under all the seats, did all that shit. So I don't know what to say, dog. It's MIA in the his house. Thanks for watching Talking with People, and don't forget to eat plenty of cheese.